For those of you asking how you do the load separation on the three-phase distribution board, let me explain. So usually in an apartment that uses a single phase, they will end up looping these three inputs together and put the supply either from any of the terminals, since three of them are looped to it. Let's say the life enters here from wherever it is coming from, that is generator and grid, and this line here will be for earthing, and this is the neutral line. You see both of them look similar, but if you look closely, there is an isolator on the base of the bus bar. Now this is a smaller type of it, so the isolator isolates the neutral from touching the metallic body of the distribution board. All the neutrals will go to this point, all the earthing will go to this point. This earthing cable here connects to the door of the distribution board. So when we are now bringing inverter to power some part of the load you are seeing over here, instead of now looping the three of them the way it was looped together, we are now going to disengage one of the lines depending on the quantity of appliances or lines you want to be on the inverter. So the inverter will now go to this empty line we created here, IMV, for the inverter. Then NEPA and generator from the changeover, let me put it in NEPA gen, will now go directly to these two lines here. Then you notice that there is a color code here. So these two breakers at the top is red, this is blue, this is green, then it repeats all over again, red, yellow, blue, and so on. So each of the color represents a pole on the breaker. So for you to confirm what pole represents a color here, you can check it on the cover of the DB, you see it there, or you can use your multimeter and run a quick test just to be sure. That's even preferable than checking the label on the cover. So with your meter, you run a continuity test. With that, you will know which line goes to a particular color. So let's say this first pole here represents the red line. We'll now connect the inverter to this particular first pole. So all the red lines here now are going through the inverter. All those your light load, you will now connect their breakers on these red lines. So we'll have how many breakers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 breakers for the red lines, which is for the inverter. Then you now have another 6 for yellow, another 6 for green, which is 12 lines in total that goes directly towards to NEPA and generator. So this way, when inverter is running, it goes through this breaker, then it powers all this breaker on the red line, which are now the lights load, the TV, the bulbs, and the other lights load in the apartment. And if grid or generator is not available, it is only those loads on the red line will be working through the inverter. And when the grid is not available, the grid will come to these two poles directly, powering all the yellow and the blue phase. And remember that the grid would also enter the inverter to charge the battery and would also bypass and still come back to this first pole again. So at that point, there is grid. It will enter the 3 poles. It will enter these 2 poles directly and enter this first pole through the inverter and power everything on the DB as well. So this is how you do the separation. It is not that difficult. Then on the next video, I will show you how to do the separation if your client doesn't have this 3-phase distribution board.